NFL player just gave the Cowboys all the more reason to pull off much-needed trade. Even if the Dallas Cowboys are trying to act as if it's no issue, the team could use an upgrade at running back. The plan put together by front office and coaching staff isn't working out, and that starts with who's carrying the rock. Now granted, there are many other factors causing the Cowboys to be incompetent running the football, such as blocking up front and the overall scheme. But it's highly difficult to act like the Cowboys don't lack some explosiveness at RB. Rico Dowdle has been decent, picking over 4 yards a carry yet providing little explosion to the offense. Meanwhile, Ezekiel Elliott, who averaged under 4 yards per attempt in his last, is currently at 3 yards per carry and providing little value on offense. Deuce Vaughn has been a healthy scratch for the last couple of weeks, and Dalvin Cook has yet to be activated from the practice squad, though last season sure doesn't make him look like the fix at RB. That's why on Sunday, while watching the early London game between the Jacksonville Jaguars and New England Patriots, one particular player caught my eye as I inevitably thought, Jags RB, Tank Bigsby is pretty good. Do they really need to keep Travis Etienne? With Etienne out with a short-term injury, Bigsby racked up 118 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. The Jaguars, who barely improved to 2-5, are likely to be sellers at the trade deadline, and there's plenty of reasons to believe they'd consider moving on from Etienne. In fact, fellow A to Z sports writer and AFC South specialist Destin Adams listed Etienne earlier in the week as a player who could be traded away by Jacksonville. Below is his full breakdown. I'm sure this one will come as the biggest surprise, but the Jaguars should consider trading star RB Travis Etienne. He has been the Jaguars starter for all 6 games this season and has the most carries with 56, but backup Tank Bigsby is the team's leading rusher with 297 yards on only 41 attempts. Etienne is 67 yards behind Bigsby with 230 yards on the season, and both RBs are tied with 2 rushing touchdowns. Bigsby is averaging an insane 7.2 yards per rush, while Etienne sits at an average of 4.1. It seems Bigsby having his breakout year, and it seems clear he needs more carries than he is getting. If the Jaguars want to clear up the logjam between the two, they would most likely get more via trade for Etienne, and there's reason to believe Bigsby is the better RB option right now for the Jaguars anyway. And with Etienne potentially having to miss a week or more with his current injury, it could open the door for Bigsby to steal the starting job away permanently. So if a contender desperately needs a boost to their running game, whether it's due to a lack of production or an injury, the Jaguars could send Etienne for a pretty lucrative draft pick center trade package. Bigsby's rise opens the door for a trade that could really benefit the Cowboys this year. If they decide to be buyers, I'd argue Dallas could consider being sellers. Running back is one of the many positions they could aim to improve. Meanwhile, the Jaguars could be more open to moving on and would be unlikely to demand much more than a middle to late round pick. Unfortunately, the Cowboys are usually as conservative as it gets in NFL team building and have publicly stated they like the personnel already on the roster, right or wrong. In all likelihood, they'll stay put with what they've got. But here's hoping they change their mind November 5th's trade deadline following Week 9. Cowboys hot topic. Patience is key when it comes to rookie LT Tyler Guyton. The Dallas Cowboys had one of the best left tackles of this generation for over a decade in the future Hall of Famer Tyron Smith. So, turning the page from that type of situation is never easy, and it also made getting another reliable player to protect the blind side of quarterback Dak Prescott necessary. Dallas took Tyler Guyton out of Oklahoma as they were looking to continue their reputation of making excellent choices in offensive linemen in the first round. While he came into the NFL with a lot of promise, Guyton had some deficiencies like bad footwork at times and displaying bad hand placement. Also, he tended to lean too much when engaged in blocks. Once training camp came about, Guyton's athleticism and size stood out, but as a rookie, the shortcomings showed up as well. Once the season started, Guyton got the ultimate test when he went up against All-Pro edge rusher Myles Garrett. Unsurprisingly, Guyton took his lumps against Garrett as he gave up a sack, 3 pressures, and 2 hurries. However, considering who Guyton went to battle against, that was a successful outing. He survived. When looking at the totality of what Guyton has done from a performance standpoint, it's been up and down. Yes, the athleticism is there, and even when he gets beat initially, he can recover quickly. However, Guyton has allowed 4 sacks, 13 pressures, and committed 8 penalties. Of course, this isn't ideal by any means, but it's similar to what All-Pro left guard Tyler Smith went through in 2022 as a rookie. Remember, he started out at left tackle, and for the season, he gave up 6 sacks, 11 quarterback hits, 39 pressures, 22 hurries, and he was flagged for 13 penalties. What is also important to remember is that Guyton played right tackle when he was at Oklahoma. So, he is learning a new position, which will take time to get used to. And the only way to do that is to keep getting reps. Unfortunately, Guyton recently dealt with an injury that kept him out against the Detroit Lions, which is a small setback for him. In his absence, Smith slid back over to left tackle. However, the Cowboys have already said that Guyton will be back as the starter at left tackle after the bye week. Patience paid off when it came to Smith, and he's turned into one of the best at his position. It may take a little longer for Guyton to get there, seeing as he didn't even start playing football until his senior year in high school. Plus, as mentioned, he's learning a new position. The growing pains will continue, but Guyton still has a shot to be a very reliable left tackle once his development comes full circle. Amid all the Cowboys' problems on offense, Dak Prescott's play has been a contributor to their failures. NFL Week 7, 2024, Late Games Live Discussion. NFL Week 7, 2024, Early Games Live Discussion. The Amari Cooper trade and the undue criticism it has generated for the Cowboys front office. Cowboys point/counterpoint. Cowboys' mental fortitude may doom them. Unexpected issues paired with Cowboys' lack of off-season activity has led to rocky 3-3 start. Insider makes claim about Cowboys' Mike McCarthy future. The Dallas Cowboys aren't in the position they wanted to be in right now, but that doesn't mean that any major changes are on the horizon. Dallas currently is 3-3 on the season and is in third place in the NFC East. The 2024 season hasn't gone as planned for the Cowboys, but they have plenty of talent and should be able to turn things around. The Cowboys have star power on both sides of the ball and very well could be in the mix this season in the playoffs despite a plethora of negative chatter. Dallas is 3-3, but it seems like they are 0-6 with the amount of negative headlines about the team. Many have wondered about the future of head coach Mike McCarthy with the season not going as planned. Although there have been question marks, The Athletic's Diana Rossini made a definitive report that he isn't going anywhere. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones told me at the owners' meetings in Atlanta that he has no plans to fire head coach Mike McCarthy or any coordinators, Rossini said. He also added that Dallas won't be making roster moves before the NFL trade deadline in November. He may be an irritated owner at the moment, but he still believes in what Jerry the GM has built. This seems like a pretty big guarantee that McCarthy isn't going anywhere during the season. Things always could change once the season ends, but it doesn't sound like a move is coming now. There has been speculation about a partnership with legendary head coach Bill Belichick, but that seems very unlikely now.